The much-delayed maiden deployment for the U.S. Navy's new aircraft carrier is now scheduled to take place next year. While this is 4 years later than originally planned, the news will come as a relief for U.S. Navy specifically and the U.S. military as a whole. Rear Admiral Gregory Huffman, the commander of Carrier Strike Group 12, recently told USNI News in an interview, "Everything is on track." Huffman, who will lead the Gerald R. Carrier Strike Group on its first deployment, added, "We are still looking to get out as scheduled after the 6-month availability. No big showstoppers that we've come across at all, so very, very positive news coming from the captain and from the shipyard. And then as we come out of that, I think we're going to be set very well to get back in that operational mindset and get ready for the deployment." This is a crucial development. In this video, Defense Updates reports on the USS Gerald R. Ford supercarrier's expected first deployment. Let's get into the details. This video is sponsored by Warplanet from Gameloft. Warplanet Online is a free-to-download military real-time MMO strategy game and is actually set on a real-world map. It's available on mobile and PC, so you can play anywhere. Terminator 2 took over WPO for an exclusive action-packed experience full of missions and rewards. You can participate in the game with players from all over the world, fight merciless Terminators, and stop Judgment Day. Customize powerful commanders, configure numerous futuristic weapons and skills, and lead your armies across the globe through Skynet's renegades and strategic missions with explosive prizes. While the game is easy to pick up and start playing, it has a very high skill cap and requires strategic understanding and implementation. Join Sarah Connor as your tactical advisor in thrilling PvP and PvE daily challenges. Adding more fun is the fact that if you install Warplanet Online and log into the game between October 19th and November 1st, 10 of you can win an official jaw-dropping T-800 Terminator Skullbox merchandise. So why wait? Download the game and register yourself using the link in the description below. Nimitz-class carriers have been the face of the U.S. Navy and have enabled power projection far off from the U.S. homeland. USS Nimitz, the lead ship of the Nimitz class, was commissioned in 1975. The Nimitz class has been able to accommodate many new technologies over the decades, but the Nimitz design has now reached its threshold, and this is where Ford class comes in. Ford-class supercarriers are being built to replace some of the United States Navy's existing Nimitz-class carriers and promise a lot of improvements. The USS Gerald R. Ford is the lead ship of Ford-class supercarriers. 4 of these have been ordered, with the 3 additional warships now under assembly. A decision on the 5th is due next year. With frustrating delay halting the progress for considerable time, the U.S. Navy is now keen on getting on with the supercarrier. Ford class has added many technological innovations. For example, new catapults called Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, emails, Advanced Arresting Gear, AAG, a very powerful radar, new power plants, to name a few. Some of these are very substantial, like Ford-class supercarriers have 2 Bechtel A-1B nuclear reactors. Each one of these are capable of producing 300 megawatts of electricity, triple the 100 megawatts of each in Nimitz-class vessels. USS Gerald R. Ford will see extensive automation, which helps the future operating cost. For example, the warship will have about 20% lesser crew when compared to Nimitz-class warships. Since USS Gerald R. Ford is the first warship of this new class, it's seen several challenges, and there have been many setbacks due to the fact that critical systems didn't work as planned. For example, according to a GAO report in mid-2020, the Gerald R. Ford was reporting significant problems with the operation of its weapons elevators, while a DoD report in early 2021 stated that the ship was still not combat-ready, citing continuing problems with the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, emails. Designed to achieve 4,166 aircraft launches between operational mission failures, instead it went 181 launches between failures, well below the requirement. With due diligence, most of the lingering issues have seen improvement or been resolved outright. On the 8th of August, the U.S. Navy announced that USS Gerald R. Ford nuclear-powered supercarrier has successfully completed a third explosive test, marking the completion of the full ship shock trials, FSSTs. FSSTs include 3 large blasts, each progressively closer to the supercarrier, and is designed to mimic real-world scenarios. The U.S. military had detonated a 20-ton bomb next to the supercarrier. The explosion was so powerful that it registered 3.9 on the Richter scale. The blast is comparable to 100 modern-day depth charges exploding simultaneously. There was no major flooding, fires, or equipment failures, despite the best efforts of 40,000 pounds of explosives. Huffman said that the radar, emails, and AAG performed well during the shock trials, with all of them still running immediately after each of the shocks. The successful FSST has paved the way for operational deployment. As far as the U.S. Navy strategy is concerned, the supercarriers are expected to play a major role in the foreseeable future. Hence, the availability of the USS Gerald R. Ford, followed by the other members of its class, would provide much-needed headroom. The supercarrier is expected to take some pressure off from other carriers of the U.S. Navy. Viewers may note that Ford-class supercarrier is also expected to achieve a 33% increase in sortie generation, 160 sorties per day under normal conditions, 270 during wartime burst, giving the U.S. Navy unprecedented operational flexibility. The first example of every class of weapons takes more time to build and costs the most. This is because of the fact that a huge amount of research has to be done and totally new technologies have to be developed. Once the first is finished, the next sets can be constructed by simply copying the technologies of the first. Also, the construction processes are streamlined, reducing costs and time. So, with the announcement, the countdown to the first deployment of USS Gerald R. Ford has truly begun. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.